Good morning. Thank you for joining us for SCORE Broward's webinar, Video Marketing 101. My name is Dave Harris, and I'm the Marketing Chairman for SCORE Broward. This webinar will be in listen-only mode, but we have enabled the Q&A feature down at the bottom of your screen, so you can type in questions and comments for our speaker. I wanted to also let you know that a copy of this presentation will be emailed in a follow-up email to all the participants, all the viewers today of our webinar, along with a link to a recording of the webinar if you want to review it or share it with associates. We're very fortunate to have with us today Steve Sarsfield, one of South Florida's recognized experts in video production and marketing. And he's the owner of South Florida Video Productions. Here to tell you how to successfully use videos to educate, inform, and attract new and existing clients is Steve Sarsfield. Take it away, Steve.
Hey, everybody. Welcome and thanks for joining us. I don't think I'll be needing this today, so I'll take that off. So thank you, Dave. Thank you, SCORE, for hosting this, and thank you all for attending. I think you're going to learn a lot of video marketing elements. So let's get started. I have a quick video for you.
Video marketing has become a necessity for successful business in the 21st century. Roadblocks to creating professional marketing videos are content, cost, and quality. South Florida Video Productions provides quick and affordable professional solutions. Welcome, savvy marketers, to Video Marketing 101. This is not video marketing for dummies. This is video marketing for smarties. You realize video marketing is the best way to capture, inform, and retain clients, and you have questions. Well, you've come to the right place. During this program, we will discuss successful and effective video marketing techniques. Topics include types of videos, basic principles, the 5 phases of production, distribution, and more. At the end of our class, you will have the opportunity to create your own marketing video using your smartphone. I encourage your participation. Please feel free to raise your hands and ask questions. So without further hesitation, I introduce you to me. Steve.
Okay, you can go now. All right, thank you. So a little bit about me.
Royal crowds in the Greek joint kitchen and bar catering. Superior food, tidy service, delicious prices, menus.
Sorry, it goes into the next one there. Sorry about that. So a little bit about me. I've owned South Florida Video Productions for 10 years. Before that, I worked in television production, but the main focus of South Florida Video Productions has been making marketing videos, and I hope to share you a lot of what I've learned over the 10 years and help you make successful video marketing as well. So just to summarize, our objective today is to, in this 90-minute presentation, you're going to learn about successful video marketing techniques. Topics include types of videos, basic principles, to include concept development, content, topics, knowing your target audience, establishing goals, image quality, framing, lighting, audio. We're going to touch on perceived value, broadcasting, distribution, and analytics. And unfortunately, we will not have the opportunity in the online version to do the interactive activity, but if you have the opportunity to attend the Video Marketing 101 live with SCORE at Nova University, you're welcome to join us and participate in that activity as well. So with that, you have a poll. If we could open up the poll. Let's see here. I just want to get an idea of who you are and what you're looking to learn today. So if you could take a minute, we'll take 60 seconds and just fill out the poll, please. There should be on the bottom of your screen it says polling. So if you could just fill that out, you know, basically where you're coming from and what you're looking to learn today. We'll take 60 seconds to fill that out, and we'll come right back. So I see we have lots of business owners and managers. That's great. Lots of entrepreneurs. I figured that. We have some marketing people. Great. Some people are into designing websites and social media. That's good. Perfect. And let's see, how to improve my business using video. That's great. Numbers are still coming in here. Okay, obviously, how to create my own videos. Great. We're going to teach you a lot about that. Where to post videos. Perfect. We're going to cover that towards the end, so stick with this. How to plan my video concept. I'm glad there's a lot of people interested in that. It's very important. Let's see. And okay, let's go ahead and end the poll. Looks like everybody's joined and filled it out. So that's great. So let's get started.
Steve, while you're doing that, I wanted to remind everybody this is a listen-only webinar. So if you have comments or questions, type them into the Q&A box down below. Unfortunately, raising your hand, we're not able to turn on anybody's audio. So ask your questions in the Q&A box. Thank you.
Great. So, okay, so let's talk about, so the video poll has been closed. Some people are asking where's the poll. So sorry, it's been closed. It was only open for a minute, but don't worry, you'll still learn everything. So any good 101 class starts with a little bit of theory and why video works. So let's talk about that, okay? So let's first talk about television versus web. Well, maybe not the millennials so much, but most of us, our introduction to any type of video was the television. And advertising on television, well, you know, you buy you put your spot and purchase something during a show or on a certain channel, and hopefully somebody will happen to watch your video that may or may not need your product. You probably have to do a lot more hard selling and convincing people that they need your product. That's called push advertising. What the web has done, it's a more of a pull environment. Now people are looking for your products and services, and you have to show them why they should be choosing your products and services above your competitors, okay? So there's a difference between television advertising and what we're doing now on the web. It's become extremely cost effective to make your own videos now. Everybody has a high quality camera in their pocket, in their head, on their phones. 10, 15 years ago, this was a $10,000 camera. Same with the editing programs. Mac users are getting iMac for free with the purchase of their Mac computers. PCs used to give out a program called Movie Maker. I don't think they're doing it anymore. But regardless, the editing programs, Final Cut Pro, for instance, is one of the top professional editing systems. It's $300. Again, 10, 15 years ago, these were $10,000 programs and computers and systems that you had to buy. So it's just so much more cost effective. Video saves time, right? Videos work for you 24/7. You don't need somebody answering the phone to answer your questions. It's multi-platform. Now, here I'd like a little interaction. If you notice, there's a Q&A board, And if you open up the Q&A board, I'm just curious, you know, once you make your video, you can distribute your video on six different platforms. And I'm just curious if you could all type in your Q&A, does anybody have any idea what those six are? Let me know. Anybody? I'll get you started. Social media, one place you can do it. I'm not seeing any responses. Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying Instagram and Facebook.
Oh, you are? Okay, let me scroll down. Oh, I'm sorry. Instagram. Yeah, okay, perfect. Facebook. Sorry, you have to scroll down. Perfect. So Facebook, YouTube. Okay, so we have social media. These are the different platforms that you can distribute your video. We have social media. We have, which includes Facebook, Instagram, all of those. We have YouTube, that's 2. Website, somebody wrote website, yes, that's 3. LinkedIn, that's social media as well. Let's talk about the third one, or the fourth one, chat. You can now, I'm using Zoom. Zoom is a chat program. Also, you can share your video on WhatsApp and any type of messenger program. So that's 4. And let's see, 5, we have television. So, oh, and email marketing. Don't forget email marketing. So there's 6 ways after you produce your video that you can distribute it, okay? Thank you for your participation. The SEO. Video helps with SEO if you properly place your video on your website. And we'll talk about that later. I'll go into more detail about that. Video builds a connection and a rapport with your viewer. You know, after they watch your video and they make actual contact with you, they already know you. If they're speaking to you on the phone, they feel like they know you. There's a little connection. There's a little rapport. So that's another advantage. We know we like video. We're familiar with video. Everybody's walking around with a video player in their pocket. So it's accessible. Again, if you have any questions, please ask them along the way. Dave's helping with me to monitor the questions. So go ahead and ask away. So let's talk about the different types of marketing videos that we can create. As soon as I find the slide. Here we go. So there's a bunch of different types of marketing videos that you can make. The most important one that everybody should have is on their webpage is a landing page video, all right? Now, what's a landing page video? A landing page video is a very general, quick, informative video, just about basically, hi, this is my company, this is what we do, and then maybe a quick call to action at the end. Call us, fill out a form, stop by our showroom, okay? That's a typical landing page video. 30 to 60 seconds should be the time on a landing page video. Product, service, demo video, pretty self-explanatory. If you have a product or a service, make a video and train people how to use your product or service, right? Great way. Internal or training videos. This again, it saves time. If you have a block of instruction on, let's say, sexual harassment in the workplace or handicap accessible whatnot, how that handicap deals with your business, okay, you can shut down your business for a whole morning and hire a speaker to come in and bring everybody into your office and have a classroom, and you could record that classroom so future employees, you don't have to do that again. You have the video, you say, watch the video, right? Saves time. Internal training videos. Invitation and thank you videos are getting very trendy now. What's better to receive? And I'm not going to say better because different people digest information in different ways. So if you're sending out a written invitation, accompany it with a video invitation as well. So instead of talking about all the entertainment and the delicious food that you're offering, why not show images of that, right? One of my favorite saying is, if a picture paints 1,000 words, then a video paints 1,000,000, right? Okay. So also thank you videos. After your client has completed a purchase, send them a thank you video. Thank them for your purchase. Tell them some accessories or upgrades that they can purchase. Tell them where they can get tech support if they need it. Great idea to form a regular repeat client, sending them thank you videos. Profile and corporate culture videos are also trending. These are more of videos that say, this is who I am. This is why I'm passionate about what I do. And these are my qualifications, either on a personal level or on a company level. These are called profile and corporate culture videos, okay? Most important, when you're making a video, answer your client questions. You know your clients. You know the questions that they are asking before they make that purchase. Include them in your video and answer those questions 24/7, right? Saves time. Most importantly, and we all know this, whenever we're watching a video, we're thinking, what can you do for me? All right, that's all the viewer cares about. You know, they don't care about your puppy. You know, 10 years ago, somebody would come in and, you know, hi, this is my puppy. But come on, you have 8 seconds statistically, and even shorter, to give the client some value in your video, okay? So maybe in a profile corporate culture, you know, if you're telling more, okay, maybe you could start out with your dog, but for most things, people just want to know, what can you do for me? And if you don't address that within, let's say 3 to 8 seconds, your client's gone. They're looking at another video. And of course, for the scrollers on social media, on LinkedIn, Facebook, you know, how fast do you have to attract their attention? So get to the point right away. Testimonial videos are extremely beneficial. And let's go ahead and talk a little bit more in depth about some testimonial videos here. So testimonial videos can be done on location. And here's some questions that you can ask them. What are your concerns before using Company X, and did Company X and address and deliver these concerns, and why choose X? Company X really helped me. Try and get them to use your name in their responses. That's branding, and it helps people remember the name of your company, okay? There's a couple more questions here. I could go through them all. Talk about the process. How did you feel? People love to talk about how they feel, and people love to listen to how they feel. So if a friend asks you about X, what would you tell them? And who provided, and how was customer service? You know, turn your employees into superstars. Ask clients to use names in their testimonials. It not only boosts the morale of your employees, but it helps clients realize, you know, hey, these are people, and, you know, things they can identify with. So a few notes here on the bottom. A good testimonial, it should be between 10 and 60 seconds. You know, if they run long, make 3 testimonials, okay? Out of one speaker, you could possibly make 3 testimonials. Give them feedback. I like to say what I call my exaggerated nod. So let's say you're in your store and a client comes in, they say, oh, you have the best ice cream. I really love your ice cream. Hey, well, thank you. Can we make a quick video? And would you be willing to say that on video? And you know, maybe offer them a free ice cream. I don't know, some incentive. And then just whip out your phone, hold it at eye level, at their eye level. If they're sitting down, bring it down to their eye level, okay? And give them feedback when they're saying something positive, you know? If they, you know, oh, we really love your company, your pistachio ice cream is the best, you know, give them what I call it as the exaggerated nod. Give them feedback to let them know that they're on the right track. And you'll see once you give them the feedback, they'll light up and energize and really get into it. So, you know, when you're giving the nod, try not to nod the camera too, you know, hold the camera steady while you're giving the nod. But there's some great tips on testimonials. So that's probably one of the easiest and cheapest videos that you can make to help sell your products and services. So let's get down to some meat and talk about some tips on marketing videos. So here's 12 production tips and tricks. First of all, know your audience, okay? Is your audience, are they millennials? Are they boomers? Are they seniors? Are they male? Are they female? Are they lay people who don't really understand the technical jargon that you're using in your video? Or are they highly technical and you can speak in acronyms and you know, use words, industry terms, okay? I once worked for a company and it was a restaurant and they had this was their audience profile. A 34-year-old single college-educated woman who reads books, lives in the suburbs, and her name is Madeline. And every message that created was towards that certain person. Now, I'm not suggesting that you go that deeply into knowing who your audience is, or maybe you could, but the takeaway here is if you're trying to impress everybody, you're probably not going to impress anybody. So know your niche market and talk to your audience. Know your audience, okay? Total running time. This is one of the most frequent questions I'm asked as a video producer. How long should my marketing video be? And the quick answer to that question is between 10 and 90 seconds, probably more between 30 and 90 seconds. However, there's an exception to everything, obviously, right? If you're teaching something and it takes 12 minutes to teach and the viewer is getting value, they'll watch your whole video. Now, is it better to chop it up into perhaps 4 3-minute videos instead of 1 12-minute video? Perhaps, okay. But mainly, let's say you own a dog, a company that supplies things to take care of your dog, okay? And a viewer wants to watch a video on how to trim dogs' toenails. So they go to your company website, they click on your video, your how-to video, and you start talking about nutrients, vet care, grooming, and then finally get to trimming your dog's nails, let's say 3 to 5 minutes into the video. What do you think that viewer is going to do? They're either going to leave right away when you start talking about something that they don't care about, or maybe they care about, but that's not the information that they're looking for. Or maybe they'll start scrubbing through it and hopefully find where you're talking about. Anyway, long story short, get to the topic that you're promising the viewer when they click on your video. So if your title of your video is how to clip dogs' toenails, boom, you better get to that point in like 8 seconds and start giving them value or they're gone, okay? Topic, very important. Lighting, okay? Lighting, also extremely important and separates the professional video from the amateur video, okay? A good light source should come from in front of you, okay? Ideally, what you're trying to recreate is the natural light effect of the sun. So if it even comes up a little higher, that's fine. But what you don't want to do is place your light source below you. You don't want a light source directly overhead of you. It'll cast the most unflattering shadows and make your hair glow. So you don't want that. You can use a lamp. Right now, I have my computer set in front of a window, and I'm using natural sunlight that's coming in through my window. But if it were night or I didn't have this window, I could simply put a lamp behind the computer, maybe on top of your camera source. So go ahead and experiment with that, but just make sure also that there's not brighter light behind you. That's called backlighting. And when you do that, you won't see any detail on the person's face. You won't see their eyes. You won't see their mouth. Okay. So important. Lighting source in front of you. Okay. Audio. A lot of the new computers, they have great microphones on them. Right now, I'm using my Mac laptop microphone, stock with came with the computer. If your computer isn't up to par, if the audio isn't up to par, look into a plug-in external microphone that maybe you could wear. Okay, try to make sure you're close to your source. If you're using cameras, you know, obviously, like we have lavalier microphones and wireless lavalier microphones. You don't really need that. Does it help? Yes, but you don't really need that. Try and make sure that you're in a space that doesn't have all hard surfaces that makes your voice sound very echoey, okay? And it doesn't sound professional. Sometimes it can work, and as our professional lower standards get kind of lower and lower, you know, certain things become more acceptable. But, you know, if your room is very echoey, hang a blanket maybe behind the camera. That'll absorb some of that echo, okay? So a soft, fluffy blanket. Let's talk about background. Here I'm using a built-in feature in Zoom called virtual background, but this is basically green screen. I'm not sure who's familiar with green screen, but this is it live and in action. So, you know, you could put a virtual background behind you, but basically don't make your background too distracting. You know, some people are all worried beforehand they're going to go set up their background and they're rearranging their pictures and their little dolphin statue and, you know, blah, blah, blah. But the viewer, they're looking at your video and maybe they're looking, oh, I think I know that person in that picture. Oh, I love dolphins. Is that adding to your message? No. So make sure your background is neat and clean. It's better to have nothing at all, quite honestly, than to have dolphins and pictures in your background, than to have elements in your background that have nothing to do with your message, okay? If you want to look nice, maybe a plant, I don't know. Then again, somebody might look at the plant and say, oh, what kind of plant is that? That's a blah, 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 blah. So don't make your background distracting. Okay, let's talk about angle and composition. So as you can see, my camera is now on eye level, and this is ideal where you want your camera. You don't want your camera looking down at you, so you're looking up. You don't want your camera, you know, you looking down at your audience either. That, believe it or not, can have some subliminal messages that you're conveying to your viewer. The subliminal message may be, wow, this is really amateur, or it might be, wow, this person's talking down to me. And they may not even be thinking it consciously, but there's a lot of things that you have to realize about your video. Oh, and also regarding composition, and I'm going to have a graph later, but speaking of composition, I want to point out the rule of thirds, okay? So if you'll notice, if you kind of split the screen horizontally into thirds, right? My eyes are on the upper level, okay? And proper framing will allow you to, no matter how far away you go, if you keep your eyes on that level, you will look properly framed, no matter how close or how far away you get. If you keep your eye generally on that third level, that's proper framing. We've all seen videos of people like this, right? It doesn't look professional. What's all this headroom? It's just wasted space. Okay. So, standing versus sitting. Okay. I prefer standing. I'm standing now. And I believe it enables people to gesture more freely if they want. And you also get better voice projection. Of course, sometimes it's more appropriate to sit down, and sometimes people aren't able to stand. So again, knowing the rules makes you a professional, but also knowing when to break the rules is important also. Let's talk about orientation and shape. This has recently come along, you know, with the smartphone. Typically, like for instance, this, we're vertically oriented, horizontally oriented in a 16:9 format, okay? Basically, it's a rectangle, okay? Now with the phones, you know, most people are holding it vertically and recording video that way. And it's become a new norm, a new acceptable norm, especially if your final distribution is on, let's say Facebook or any other platform where somebody's holding their phone while viewing it. You get more real estate, more video real estate if you do that vertically. So what's the compromise? What do you do? Well, again, it comes down to knowing your audience. Is your audience mostly going to be CEOs or desk people who are probably going to watch your video on a desktop? Or are they, you know, people that are on the go that they're going to be watching your video on your smartphone? So knowing your audience is good, but you know, hey, that's kind of hard too, right? So the new suggestion is now square videos. So formatting your video to be square will accommodate all of your playback features, okay? So that's orientation and shape. Tripod. Get a tripod. It looks better. You know, 1999, Blair Witch Project came out with that shaky handheld camera and went mainstream, and it changed everything in video production. Before that, if you had anything shaky in your video, it was considered unprofessional. Now it's widely acceptable, and even more so that people are going around carrying their phones and making videos. Now, you know, and they're even making them on purpose. You'll notice mainstream television shows are adding these shakes to the camera. There's even an editing software where you can add this shake. I mean, personally, I think it's ridiculous, but you have to realize that shake can be very distracting and subconsciously maybe turning people off to your video. So I highly recommend getting a tripod for your camera. Now, if you're doing a script, if there's any talking involved in your video, which I highly recommend because audio is 50% of your video project. So if you're only showing video and no audio, you're missing out on an opportunity to communicate. So most people think that they're great off the cuff, and they are in live situations, but in a video, it's different. When you're in a live situation and you're speaking, easily a 2-minute speech, so I'm just using an example, if you script it out properly and write it out word for word, you can convey that same information in easily 50% of the time. And so how do you do that? I would recommend to start out with an outline. Okay. You can even use that outline as a cheat sheet to hang next to your camera or below, you know, the camera lens, and read your bullet points from there. I wouldn't suggest writing out word for word your script and taping that to the camera, because what you'll be doing is everybody will see that you're reading and you're not looking at the camera. And again, it's distracting and it looks amateur. So if you have a big script, you can't memorize it, and just this outline is not enough, get a teleprompter, okay? That you could download lots of different teleprompter programs from free in the App Store and use that. Or you can hire a professional video company that has professional teleprompters that fit right in front of the camera. And why is that important? Why is it important to talk to the camera? Well, there's two different techniques that now you'll notice if you didn't notice it before. There's one called the interview technique, and that's where somebody stands off camera and then I talk to that person and answer, okay? It's still effective in communicating messages and information, but it's not very interactive, okay? Whereas when I'm looking at the camera and I'm addressing the viewer, there's a lot more interaction and there's a lot more opportunity for the viewer to really get involved, okay? So that's the difference between talking directly to the camera and the testimonial style, okay? We talked a little bit earlier about a call to action. Call to action is usually at the end of a video and basically instructs the viewer on what you want them to do next, right? Just don't show them a great video and then leave them hanging. What do you want them to do next? Do you want them to sign up for your newsletter? Do you want them to donate money? Do you want them to stop by your showroom, call you? Tell them, okay? Okay, great. So let's move on. So now we're going to, I have this graph here to illustrate the rule of thirds that we were just talking about. So here we are in the graphic representation. And as you can see, my eyes are on that third level. And as you can see, the lady far away there, her eyes are also on the same level. I might say that she has a little too much headroom, but as a general rule, this is how you frame things. Remember the rule of thirds. This also works if you're vertically orienting your cell phone. So, and using that as your camera, works the same. If you'll notice, there's also these vertical lines. And sometimes putting something on a third instead of centering it can be a little bit more dynamic. So that's a matter of taste. So why all of these rules? Why should I strive to make my video look professional? Well, there's something called perceived value, and perceived value elevates your brand. Professional looking videos builds brand confidence and commands higher prices. Amateur looking videos reduces brand confidence and commands cheaper prices, okay? So, as we talked about before, image quality is important, framing is important, lighting, audio is important. You can add music in post-production or editing to your project. And I'll tell you, music adds a whole other, mostly subconscious element to your video if you choose the right piece of music. When I do my editing projects, music is generally the last thing that I put into a project. And I could tell you, no matter how good the video was before, if you put the right piece of music in there, it just brings it to a whole new level. And some of the greatest compliments I get when I first started my company and I would send them the video, I'd say, well, what did you think about the music? And I'll tell you, 50% of them are like, what music? And if your music is there and they don't even really realize that it's there, it's not distracting from the message, that's successful. If somebody, when they're watching your video, all they remember is the music, that's not effective music. So make sure your music matches the tone of your video and it's not too loud. It just accentuates your message, okay? Also, text, adding text to the screen and your logo, not only increases brand awareness, but it makes it look more professional. Bullet points also increase the interaction on social media. Okay, right? People are flicking through here. You have, what, 3 seconds to catch their attention while they're flying through there? And what better way than to have some bold text telling them, you know, hey, this, you know, this video is about whatever it is, you know, that increases the interaction. Because why do you want the interaction on social media? Because they don't hear it unless somebody presses on it. The audio is muted. So you need to encourage that interaction. You can do that with text. So also, we talked earlier about the script. Another resource is professional voiceovers. There's a reason why people are professional voiceover artists. They know how to communicate a message in a way that's moving and professional. So if you have the budget, I would look into that. We talked about teleprompter, multi-cameras. I don't know if everybody here saw the video at the beginning. That was recorded with 2 cameras. One had the close-up of me, and then the second one was a little wider. And what that enabled me to do was add more text over here on the screen. So 2 cameras and cutting between them and getting different angles looks professional, elevates your value. Aerial drones, we all know about aerial drones, right? They're great, you know, when used properly. You know, a lot of aerial drones, you just see ugly rooftops, you know, so again, make your video look appealing, you know. Ugly rooftops are just ugly rooftops. Green screen, we talked about that a little bit, what we're doing right here, and special effects. So that can include animation, text effects, and whatnot. These all elevate your perceived value. Your client gains confidence in your message. They think you're professional, and they'll pay more for your products because, you know, also it has to do with customer service as well. If you're illustrating that you're professional, people tend to think that their customer service is also going to be elevated. So lots of reasons to try and make your videos look professional. So with that said, let's check out an example of a poor video. So give me a moment while I bring this up here. And what I'd like to do in your comment videos, as you're watching this video, if we could type in, I'd like to hear your responses on what's wrong with this video from what you've learned
Video
so far.
marketing has become a...
Good afternoon. There's a lot going on in the news today. I want to take a moment to talk about 2 topics. A few moments ago, the White House president announced the White House is working on apparently some executive order that will allow families to be kept together. So we're curious to see what that is. Obviously, that's a goal that we share. Yesterday, we had a meeting of the Senate entire Republican conference. Every single senator supports keeping families together.
Please type in your answers to Steve's question about what's wrong with the video. Raising hands is not possible, but type in your video in the Q&A, your answer.
Driving families together and expedite adherence.
Video marketing has become a necessity for successful business in the 21st century. Roadblocks to creating professional marketing videos are content, cost, and quality. South Florida Video Productions provides quick and affordable.
Can you see their answers, Steve?
Let's see here. Yes, let me scroll down here. What do we have? Audio and lighting is bad. You got it. What? It was backlighting is what caused that, right? The light source from behind was too strong, right? Yes. Horrible lighting, poor sounds. Exactly. I mean, if you could even understand it. By the way, I don't know if anybody recognizes that was Senator Mark Rubio, our Florida senator in Florida. I hope he's perhaps either on this class or has learned since this video. but I'll give him credit. The video is probably a year old. I haven't seen a new one, so I'm hoping he's much better. And let's talk about, okay, somebody also said vertical over horizontal. I agree. I prefer the horizontal. Maybe he could have gone square, but the vertical produced all that headroom. He was so poorly framed, right? And not only was the audio bad, I don't know if you could actually hear. Yeah, somebody said you can't even see his face with that blacklighting, right? I don't know if anyone was actually able to decipher what he said, but he meandered all over the place with stops and starts and different ideas. I mean, it was a roller coaster ride. So he clearly didn't use the script or an outline, and definitely not a teleprompter. So, okay, great. So thank you for engaging in that. And I'm glad to see some people are learning some things. I hope you're learning. So let's move on. So now we're going to get into some meat here. Now we're going to get into a little bit of meat here. So now what I'm going to talk about is some idea on if you're making a more of a high-end video production that requires editing, okay? This will introduce you to the basic process, okay? So basically in video production, there's 5 stages of production. You have the concept phase, we have the pre-production phase, the production phase, post-production, and finally broadcast or distribution. So, well, what do they mean? Well, the first stage is your concept development stage. This is a very important stage. Here you basically start to figure out what your message is, who your audience is, what are your needs and your goals for your video. Also, you want to analyze what are your assets. Now, by assets, I mean, do you have somebody in your company that is good on camera and can be your spokesperson? That's an asset. Do you have some existing video or photos that you want to utilize in your video production? That's an asset. Also in the concept development phase, you think about your budget. Are you going to do this in-house, or are you going to hire an outside production company? All of these are thought about and resolved in the concept phase. And once you're finished with that stage, it's time to move into the pre-production phase. Pre-production phase also very important to organize your video. Here is where you start organize your outline. You start creating your message. You create an outline. From your outline, you can develop a script if you're having a voiceover. And from the script, you can do a storyboard. Now, I'm not sure how many people know what a storyboard is, so let me quickly explain what a storyboard is. So when you storyboard it, basically on your sheet of paper, you have your voiceover, which represents the audio, or the script, I'm sorry, the script which represents your voiceover or your audio. And then you can either draw pictures. I don't get that too intense. I just use a few words. So for example, in your script, let's say your call to action at the end is, we're here to serve you. Please visit our website and fill out an online form to join us. Okay, so that would be in your script, your voiceover. And then your storyline notation might be an aerial drone video exterior of our building, maybe with somebody walking into the front door, and the website written across the screen. Okay, that would be your storyboard. So in the pre-production phase, you're really finalizing all of what you're needing, including, so from that storyboard, you create your shot list, basically all of the footage that you're going to need, and also create a recording schedule. Let's say you're at a large company, you're in a large company and you want to record at different parts and different sections and departments in your company, you don't want to tell everybody, okay, we're going to start at 10 o'clock, so everybody be ready. You know, well, maybe not. Maybe you say, well, we'll do the front office at 10 o'clock. We'll do the loading dock at 11. We'll do the repair shop at 12. You know, scheduling, that's all part of pre-production. Then becomes probably most everybody's favorite part of the production process, the actual production or acquisition, I like to call it as well. Here, you're using your camera to collect your footage that you need. Stock footage. I know most people know what this is, but just for the people who don't, stock footage can be purchased so affordably right now. It's ridiculous, almost ridiculous. But let's say, for instance, you want an aerial drone video of South Beach lit up at night, the Art Deco coming. Let's say you want something flying in from the ocean onto the Art Deco scenes in Miami, South Beach. Okay, you could pay a drone to do it. It costs you anywhere between $200 to $400, depending on your pilot and whether they have a license, blah, blah, blah. Or you can go on to a stock footage site and purchase that for probably between $10 and $25, okay? I mean, it's ridiculous how much this footage has dropped. Not only still photos, but also video. So 10, 15 years ago, that footage would have cost you $350 just to buy the footage. And if you want it, there was no such thing as drone back then. You had to hire a helicopter and get all this special equipment, blah, blah, blah. You're talking 4 figures minimum. So utilize the stock footage in fact, I bet you every single video that you have seen where they say, our call center is there waiting for you. Sheila in our call center, or maybe not a name, but our call center is very happy and they're there, blah, 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 blah. I bet you 95% of that lady wearing her little microphone, turning towards the camera and smiling, 95% of that is stock footage, right? Most companies simply don't have a call center that looks that beautiful. You know, if they're smart, they would probably, their call center is people working from home, talking on their cell phones on their sofa or something, you know. So take advantage of stock footage. And also in the production process, this is where you get your voiceover and your audio elements as well. So once you have all of your production elements, it's time to throw it all into the edited system, mix it up, hit blend, and do what you need to do here. So some of those things may include color correction to add maybe a tint or to brighten something up if it's too dark. This is where you add your transitions between your different clips. The most basic transitions are a simple cut where you just simply cut, and a dissolve where you dissolve. Usually a 1 second is usually a transition time. So you could dissolve, or you can use those fancy things where something flips in and flips out or whatever. But be careful about those transitions. Again, if it distracts from your message, don't use it. So when digital editing came into vogue a few years ago, and still people, when they first get on the digital editing, like, oh, look at all these cool transitions, let me throw them all in there. And then your viewers watching the video, and this is flying out there, this is jumping around, this is bouncing, and they're not concentrating on your message. So you use your transitions wisely. Again, let's talk about adding text and bullet points, how it not only reinforces your message, but it can have the added benefit of attracting somebody and encouraging interaction with your video. So text can be very valuable. And again, effects, animations, what have you, these are all added. Compression, audio compression. This can be a very valuable tool and underused. you know, when we talk, sometimes we talk really low and sometimes we talk really loud. When you add compression to your audio, it equalizes all that, so you get one steady audio feed. And again, we talked about music. Adding music in post-production can be an extremely effective selling tool, reinforcing your message. Finally, broadcast or distribution of your video. We talked about here I only have 5, but we've added chat now to that list, so it's now at 6. We've got the YouTube, social media, website, email. Yes, television is still relevant, and I'll have to add chat to this. So my questions to you, again, let's get out this Q&A button if you haven't answered so far. I'd like to know your opinion on what stages are necessary and most important. So tell me which do you think is, give me 2 maybe. Your first one is the most important, and you know, whichever ones you think are most necessary for a successful, and that's the key word here, successful marketing video. So let me give you a little time. Let's see what we got here. Concept and production, absolutely very important. Concept and post-production, yeah, very important. Okay, I see one person saying, well, a couple people saying broadcast. Now, isn't that the most important? Because you can have the most beautiful, amazing video in the world, but if nobody sees it, it's not very successful, is it? Okay. So it could be argued that what's necessary are production and broadcast. I mean, you have to have something to broadcast, right? So production and broadcast are very necessary. Everything else only elevates your perceived value and the quality of your video. So let's talk about, so we're moving along here. This goes a lot slower online than it does live. So let's see here. Let's talk about broadcasting tips and tricks, okay? Here are, I'm going to share with you some valuable ways on sharing your videos, okay? So first of all, television, still relevant, still available, still expensive. YouTube and Vimeo. These are the 2 most popular video hosting platforms that there are. And I would suggest every business owner get, if you're planning, if you're smart and planning on creating videos, even one, or a video library, even better, to start a YouTube channel. They're very simple to start your own YouTube or Vimeo channel. Different ones have different strengths. I'm not a definite expert on this, but YouTube helps you with SEO and ranking. And we're going to talk about that later. No, let's talk about it now. So, well, we'll talk about it when we get to the website. Sorry. YouTube versus Vimeo. YouTube helps you more with your SEO. Vimeo, as far as I know, has more tools if you're looking to make videos that people have to subscribe to and pay for. So I think they've developed the platform that's more user-friendly for that. Maybe you want to have a YouTube and a Vimeo platform. So let's talk about how YouTube helps with your SEO. And that brings me to the website. When you're placing your video on the website, this is the proper way to do it. First, put it on, upload it to YouTube. Okay, start your channel, upload it to YouTube. YouTube will generate a URL. This URL you copy and paste onto your website. Okay, I believe, what's that program called that makes most of the websites these days? I can't remember it right now. But anyway, there's ways that you can upload your video directly to your website, but you don't want to do that. Why? who owns YouTube? Google. So when you do it properly, when you do it the way I just instructed to you, those spiders, they're called the search engine spiders, see that connection that you've made, and they say, oh, this is a relevant website, this is a legit website, and it boosts your SEO just by that simple action. Okay, so that's the proper way to upload your video to your website. Okay, now social media, you don't want to paste your YouTube link to social media. Why? Because you lose that autoplay feature. And that's how you attract people on social media, is that autoplay. If you just cut and paste your YouTube, you're forcing them to interact. And so you're already starting a losing race, because everybody's going, I don't want to hit that. You know, they're just going to scroll on by. So website, use the YouTube link. Social media, upload your video directly to social media, okay? And don't forget your tags, your your hashtags and all that good stuff. Email marketing. Email marketing is the same as a website. Email marketing, whether it's Constant Contact or MailChimp, they're going to ask you for a YouTube or Vimeo link. You can't even, as far as I know, you know, things are constantly changing, but as far as I know, you cannot upload your video directly to your email campaign. Finally, I wanted to touch a little bit on live stream. Live stream's been very popular and trendy lately. I know a lot of people that have used it very effectively, and I know a lot of people that it's simply, quite frankly, bored them and made it kind of, you know, I don't want to see any more live streams. Now, if you're using live stream and it's working out for you, you can take a lot of these lessons, particularly framing and lighting and message and content, and getting to your point within 8 seconds if possible on your live stream. So a lot of these lessons are relatable to that. So now I want to talk about analytics. This is our last chapter here. And so analytics, for this, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and actually show you some analytics. So let's see here. Or no, share my screen. Okay, there we go. So bear with me here while I open this up. But if you go to your YouTube channel, once you have it, go to, see this here called YouTube Studio. And there's also an app that works on your smartphone or your tablet, but it's better on your desktop. So once you get all of your video library, you can go over here and check out. What we're going to do is we're going to filter this by views and only bring up videos that have 5,000 views or more. Okay, so here's a couple videos that I've produced over the years. You'll see it's from 2010. This one in particular, I wanted to show you as an example. So, excuse me. I made one of those safety videos that they show you on the airlines back in 2009, and I had it on my reel here. But you see this analytics. Now, for some reason, 20,000 people have watched this video. I have no clue why. But if you go into analytics, it takes a moment to load up. Here we go. It tells you all kinds of great stuff. Here it shows you, how many viewers you have per day. This can be especially beneficial if you've released your video or done something to promote your video. You can test the engagement right here. And here's another great tool, the audience retention tool here, okay? So you'll see this one here is at 31%, which is pretty bad. Actually, a 60% audience retention is good. It doesn't sound good, but Statistics show that if anything 60% above is pretty good. Okay. But even more valuable, what you'll see here is an actual timeline. See if you stop it. Like here, there's a little drop off. But if there's a drastic drop off in your video, you can go to here and say, at 3 minutes and 22 seconds, I'm losing a lot of people. And you can go into your video and say, what's going on at 3 minutes and 22 seconds that's making everyone drop, and make that analyst. And you can obviously see here that we've lost over 50% in the first 30 seconds. So clearly people that were clicking on this video had no idea what they were in for. They were not receiving value, and they clicked away very quickly. So that's let me show you another example. This is a local inn that we made a video in 2012. It's had 15,000 videos. This is a little 2-story motel on Hollywood Beach. Fantastic marketing. I don't know what they're doing, but if you look at their analytics, you can see spikes on days. Nothing so large, but you see this general slope here. This is typical. This is normal. This is what you're going to see on most videos. And it's at 70%, which is very good retention. And you'll actually see at the beginning, you're above 100%, which means that some people are actually watching the video twice. So check this out. Once you create your YouTube channel, make sure that you look at your analytics and see how your videos are performing. And with that, I just like to say that we are done this block of instruction. And let me bring up here my contact information. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to call or email me. There's my website. And also, if you have any suggestions for any new programs that you'd like to learn, I'm happy to make some new videos, or even have some SCORE promoted seminars and teach you how to make professional web marketing web videos. So now we can use our raised hands, and I'd love anybody to raise your hand if you learned something new today, something valuable that you're going to take with you from the class.
Well, we're getting a lot of people raising their hands, Steve, that's for sure.
Great. Okay, well, thanks for coming, and thanks, Dave, and thanks again, SCORE, for initiating this. SCORE, if you're not, I think this was widely dispersed. I think even the city of Fort Lauderdale shared this. If you're not familiar with SCORE, if you're a business owner, a new entrepreneur, or just want to get involved in a social situation, want to share your knowledge, I highly recommend you check out SCORE. Very valuable. Dave Harris is one of the most key people. And thanks again, Dave, and I turn it over to you.
Thank you, Steve. We'll answer some of the questions now, if you've got a minute.
Absolutely.
One of the most frequent questions is, what is the best app or program to do video editing?
Okay, I thought some people were going to ask that. There are 3 major ones. I use Final Cut Pro. There's another one called Premiere Pro. These are professional programs, and there's something called Grass Valley. There's a bunch out there. Again, these are professional programs, and I recommend them all highly. If you have a Mac, it comes standard with iMovie, and it has really all the basic tools that you need. But if you have a PC, I know they used to use Windows Movie Maker that came with the program, but I'm not sure what they offer now. But geez, there's so many out there, and they're all pretty good. If they're free, I suggest you just check it out and use it, read the reviews. If you can afford $300 is the Final Cut Pro. That's a one-time fee. The Premiere, it comes loaded with Adobe Photoshop and a bunch of other tools that you may not necessarily need. And they charge a monthly fee. And I don't like that. I don't want to pay every month to, I'm going to buy something, and have it. So anyway, I hope that answers your question.
Yes. A number of people are asking a question that I think I can answer, and that is, what is SEO? And as a marketing professional, I'm very familiar with this. It stands for Search Engine Optimization, and it is the key factor in ranking well when people search for your business on the internet, whether it be Google or Bing or any of the search engines. And what SEO or search engine optimization is all about is creating your website and putting in content that Google is going to find the most attractive to people who are searching for your type of business. So it is a science and an art both at the same time in using the right words in your website and your video content so that people are going to be more likely to find your website or your Facebook page or your YouTube channel. So we could have an entire course on SEO all by itself, but I recommend those people who want to know more about it to Google what is SEO, and you will find so many articles online to educate you about SEO and how to improve your SEO for your media. So that's all about SEO.
Yeah, Dave, if I could just add, it's for the organic search results, not the paid search results. SEO helps with your organic search results.
All right. Stephen wants to know, how long should a video be the ideal length of a video for social media or website?
Okay, we touched base on this in the beginning. Maybe you came later, but ideally, it's the quick answer is 10 to 60, 90 seconds. That's the quick answer, right? If we're talking, we're going to talk a little bit about the sales funnel now, okay? I'm not sure who knows what the sales funnel, but let me just give a quick explanation of what sales funnel is. If you imagine a funnel, you know, basically the top of the funnel, it represents the attraction phase where you're trying to attract clients. And if it goes through the funnel process, it equals a sale. Okay. So social media is mostly at the attraction phase. Okay. So at the attraction phase, your video length wants to be quick, cute, whatever, you know, quick, attention grabbing, right? But as your videos go down the funnel, people want more and more detailed information before they make that purchase. So social media, quick videos on the top, website videos that have more definition, or perhaps you're finding success putting these longer format videos on social media. You know, more detailed videos can get longer, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 12 minutes. If people are having value, they will continue to watch, okay? It also brings into the question, should I make that 12-minute video one 12-minute video, or should I break that up into 4 3-minute videos? You know, there's benefits in both. You have to, every situation is different. So I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, it's very good. Timothy, one of our first questions, wants to know about the legal issues involved with videos and protecting the rights, you know, intellectual property, especially when producing videos for clients. Can you talk a little bit about the legal issues?
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about, let's start with stock footage. First of all, that's why it's so smart to use stock footage. Don't go searching around YouTube and finding a video that you like and incorporating into your corporate video. You know, if they can prove that you damaged them or that you made profit for them, they can come after you monetarily. Probably the most drastic thing that will happen is you'll get a cease and desist, and they'll tell you not to use it and you just take it down. But that's stock video. But as far as your video is concerned, it almost sounds like Timothy is a content producer for third parties. So I'm going to answer that question both there and as an individual business owner. So
yes, he does animation. He does animation, Steve.
Okay. As far as I'm concerned, you know, years ago, again, this is how it's changed. Years ago, when the content provider produced it, there was additional income for every time you wanted to use it. And the content controller, the content producer had control over that. People who still abide by that template, I would not use them. They basically hold your footage hostage, and you have to pay every time you want to use it. Is that worth it? I would say no. My company policies, and generally the company policies, is everything that you've hired us to do, you own it. You own the raw footage, you own the final product, you own everything. So that's that. Now, as a business owner, legally, obviously, that's your video. And if somebody else is using your video to promote their business or whatever, you can take legal action on them and probably just go with the cease and desist. But if you can prove that it's damaged your business or that they've actually made profit off of it, then you can get some monetary compensation. Hello? Are we still on?
All right, Steve, I had my mic off. Along that line, what are some of the free resources for stock footage? Are there any websites people can go to?
Sure, absolutely. There's I use one called Videohive.net, and they're actually kind of like a super website. You go on there and they're all connected. They have Audio Jungle, where you can get royalty-free music. They also have website templates and all kinds of good stuff. Another one is called Pond5, P-O-N-D, the number 5.com. Very affordable stock footage site. If you're using a lot of stock footage, you can go to a place called They used to be called Video Blocks. Now I think they're called Storybox. And basically you pay a year-long fee and you have access to this whenever you want it. I use this, and it's a great resource. So there's 3 very good video stock footage places.
Great. Another question that a lot of people are asking is, how do you select your target market for your videos? How do you know who to aim your video at?
Well, see, that comes down to you and your knowledge of your company and your knowledge of your clients. Now, I know everybody thinks the easy answer is, oh, I want to appeal to everybody, okay? I used to do that when I opened up South Florida Video Productions. Anybody that needed a video, you come to me and I would do it. But I've quickly learned that's not a way to please anybody. And like, for instance, I won't touch music videos anymore. Just, you know, that's not my niche market. My niche market is marketing videos. So you have to make that determination who your target audience is. And okay, you might have a product, or you might generally think that everybody can use your product. I think if you really look into it, you will see who your target audience is. Whether it's something as simple as, is it an older person? Is it a younger person? Or is it a lay person who doesn't know your terminology? Or is it a very technical person? You can talk to them in real technical terms. So that's kind of some of the things you want to look at. Now, you know, I'm also talking about different tactics. Like, you know, hey, sex sells, right? So if your audience is men, why not put a good-looking girl in the video? Or if your audience is women, reverse, put a good-looking man in your video, you know? So they're the things you can use but you have to know who your audience is yourself. And sometimes there's marketing agencies out there that will help clarify that. I work with, oh gosh, I can't think of the name of them off the top. I would love to give them a shout out. But Steve Cabela and Dave, do you know what I'm talking about? The
Yes, Steve Cabela. Yes, Amplification Inc.
Amplification Inc. Yeah, the marketing companies like this, they can help you determine who is your target audience.
That's right. Or you can do your own research.
Absolutely.
We've got a number of technical questions about how do I post a video in an email, or how do I post a video on my website. These would be questions that would require quite a long answer. And
Well, not really. I mean, and I thought I thoroughly covered that in my broadcast, but just to recap, putting your video on your website, upload it to YouTube. YouTube generates a URL. Take that URL and copy and paste it onto your website. That's the proper way you can do it to gain momentum with SEO. Social media, you want to upload your videos directly to social media. That way you get that, that autoplay that attracts people and encourages interaction. And I believe you asked about email as well. You'll have to create a YouTube channel, upload your video to your YouTube channel. It will produce that URL, and that URL is what you paste in your email program. And let me add another side note. If you're using email programs, and basically anywhere on your website too, it helps. Put the text in your video. If there's a voiceover on your video, put the text in the email, put the text on your website, okay? Different people like to digest different information differently. And it's also further helps your SEO if you're putting your text and the video on your website. That's double the points for SEO.
All right, that's very helpful. We're going to have a certain limitation on our Zoom conference today because of other webinars that SCORE is doing. So what we'll do is I will gather all your questions if we were unable to answer them now, and I will send them to Steve with your email address so that he can answer you directly. And that way you'll get an answer to the things you were wondering about based on the class. But at this point, Steve, I think we have covered all the topics, and I want to thank everyone for joining us today for the SCORE webinar. If you're interested in getting more information or more help for your business, please go to our website, www.broward.score.org, and right at the top there is a button that says Find a Mentor. And for free, you can get a personal mentor who will help you with your business. We also will have many more webinars like this during the month of May. So check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/ScoreBroward, and you will see a list of our webinars on the events page. So we thank Steve very much for such an enlightening
Thanks, Dave.
webinar.
Out to the real world again.
Okay. I don't know if he's getting ready to rob a bank or produce a video, but thank you for joining us today. And we wish you much success with your business as we come out of this difficult situation with the coronavirus pandemic. Thank you very much.